All right, everybody, what is going on? Good morning. Hope you guys are doing well today. It is Wednesday, the day after the first OTA session of the 2026 offseason for the Seattle Seahawks. So we've got some stuff to talk about. We had some things go on yesterday on the football field at the VMAC that were of note. And we also learned some stuff from Mike Macdonald. So I'm going to go through it. It's going to be kind of an assorted grab bag of various updates, some of which are going to be informative and intriguing, and some of which maybe not so much, but we'll talk about what we have. Keep in mind that there should not be any OTAs today, so I don't think we're going to get anything today. I think that tomorrow and the next day are going to be your next two OTAs. So today is just going to be about talking about this. This video is sponsored by Prize Picks. So if you're looking for like actual happenings on the field at the VMAC, we did get a little bit of video. Like we've got this from Condota. It was a wet day in Kirkland, by the way, so we did get rain throughout the day. So Condota posted a little bit here. Brady Henderson posted some video as well. This is I believe that is Drew Lock throwing the football. Nicky Manwari working with the outside linebacker coach. Chris Partridge. Riley Mills doing some bag work as well. So there is some video. I think I saw an out route touchdown to JSN from Sam Darnold, if I recall correctly. But for the most part, the updates we got were more along the lines of like informational, like text, like things people said, things people actually kind of explained, which is probably better for this format anyway. So to talk about that a little bit, I think the main source of conversation that Seahawks fans are going to want to have right now is concerning who is there and who is not there. So the OTAs are voluntary. That's something to keep in mind. And in the case of the Seahawks specifically, they're probably even kind of recommending that some players don't show up. So understand that players not showing up at this point is not something to be concerned about, but we do have a slew of updates concerning who is there and the state that they're in. So DeMarcus Lawrence, he has not been, I believe DeMarcus Lawrence is the one guy on this team that hasn't shown up at all yet. He wasn't there for the workouts. He wasn't there for the OTAs now either. At least he hasn't shown up at OTAs so far. Mike Macdonald said that DeMarcus Lawrence, per John Boyle, is working through some stuff, but is in great spirits, and he'll be here at some point. So, granted, Mike Macdonald is a pretty chill and even-keeled dude with this stuff, but seems like we're fine. I don't get any reason to believe that there's concern that he's going to pull the rug out and retire on us at the last second here. I don't get the sense that there's any real possibility that Lawrence is going to just decide, you know what? I got my ring. I'm good. I got 6 kids at home. He just had one, by the way, which is part of the reason why he's probably not there. But DeMarcus Lawrence is the one guy who hasn't shown up yet. According to Brady Henderson, everybody has been seen at the OTAs except for D-Law, Derek Hall, Dante Fowler, and Emmanuel Wilson. So that's actually 3 of your 4 edge rushers. So maybe you feel a little bit, I don't know, you feel something about that. But Lawrence and Fowler make a lot of sense. And Wilson and Hall, that's probably more just like the random stuff. That's obviously not an age thing, but that's it right now. If you like sports, then the best way to make them even better and more exciting is using the Prize Picks app, where it always feels good to be right. Prize Picks makes daily fantasy simple. Just pick more or less on your favorite players and build lineups with a few taps. Whatever sport you're into, and obviously we are now firmly into the NFL offseason, so we're all about baseball. We got some basketball, we got some hockey, whatever it is you like. Prize Picks gives you a fun way to stay locked in while you're watching. Definitely make sure to use the promo code HMA. Prize Picks is hooking up users with $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. If you use that promo code, that is HMA. I've had a great time on Prize Picks so far, so definitely get on over to it, check it out, and make sure to get your lineups. And don't forget about Team Picks, where you can pick winners, spreads, and totals on any major game. So download the app now, use HMA, and get on over to Prize Picks, where it always feels good to be right. And remember, always gamble responsibly. And as Brady Henderson points out here, in this next tweet, Fowler, Hall, and Wilson were all there for the workouts, at least in part. So the only guy who has literally not shown up at all this offseason is Lawrence. So definitely nothing to be worried about here. Definitely nothing to be concerned about. It makes sense that a guy like DeMarcus Lawrence would be taking it easy. If anybody on this team deserves to take it easy and needs to, it's probably him. And again, the fact that Fowler, Hall, and Wilson were at the workouts indicates there's no real problem. In fact, a little bit later, we'll talk a little bit more about Emmanuel Wilson. One guy who was there, Devin Witherspoon. No contract extension yet, but he's still there. Doesn't seem to be bothering him at all. And also there was Leonard Williams, one of the older guys on this team who I thought maybe wouldn't be here right now. He's already there. So great news on that front. We had this from McDonald as well, per Brady Henderson, about Lawrence. His wife gave birth to the sixth child, their sixth child right after the Super Bowl. He's working through some things. He's on his plan. He's in great spirits. So again, echoing the sentiment that there's nothing to really think about here yet. And according to McDonald, Emmanuel Wilson is dealing with a personal matter. So don't really know what that is, and we don't need to know, but it doesn't seem like there's any kind of a problem here. Some other updates on players that we got from McDonald yesterday. AJ Barner is in rehab mode, not doing a whole lot. He ran a bit off to the side. He won't practice until training camp because he had some things working on in the offseason. I think we were generally aware of the fact that AJ Barner was working through stuff last season. And I think that there is a sense that he was really pushing through some tough stuff by the end of the year. But I mean, he came through, so definitely not definitely not anything to be really long-term concerned about. But he's one of the guys who is kind of taking it easy right now, which makes sense. McDonald seems to be a coach that really values taking it easy on the players sometimes. Some guys who were present but not yet practicing include Charbonnet, expected. Torrey Horton, expected. Josh Jones, I think that's new. I didn't know about that. Eric Saubert, didn't know about that. And Kenny McIntosh, we kind of knew about that. I know the injury was a while ago, but it was a big injury. I'm not surprised that he's not practicing yet. No update from McDonald on Charbonnet, and like I've said before, I think it's going to be a while on Zach. But he does think there's a chance that Horton could do some stuff towards the end of spring, and we're pretty close to the end of spring. In my mind, we're less than a month away. So that's very encouraging, and I think it was, who was it? I think it was Nemhauser who pointed this out a little bit later in the day, was this is an improvement. Some people looked at that about Horton and were like, oh man, this is taking forever. But remember, the previous expectation was that he would not be back until training camp at best. So if he's back by the end of spring, that is better than the original expectation by a pretty good amount. So that is a good sign. If Horton's actually doing stuff in mid-June, like the mandatory minicamp, that's a great sign. Torrey made a lot of great strides. It seems like we got some feedback that can really accelerate his recovery, which is great. He deserves some good news. He's been working really, really hard. That's McDonald on Horton. So great news there. I don't know if we're going to have a ton of stuff for Horton to do this year, but better to have him. I definitely think that he's a better player than a Jake Bobo or a Cody White or a Ricky White or Emmanuel Henderson, so better him than them. And yeah, this is some more stuff about Torrey Horton from John Boyle, just kind of recapping the same stuff we just talked about. Joint practice stuff, that came up a little bit. Apparently that it's probably going to be the Titans, if anybody. And it does seem like it's probably going to happen. McDonald really likes the joint practices, so that's probably a good thing. And it's also going to be on the road. So it's going to be in Tennessee. So that's kind of nice. That seems pretty agreeable to me. And that's about it in terms of like actual training camp stuff at OTAs. The only other thing we really got yesterday that caught my attention in a way that doesn't warrant a new video, but does warrant discussion would be this. Brady Henderson on Seattle Sports said that he believes that the Devin Witherspoon extension will get done early in training camp. So the thing to take away from this is that Brady Henderson doesn't believe there's anything odd about the lack of progress on a Witherspoon contract. The thing to remember, and this is absolutely true, JSN was the exception. Usually we do not extend players that early. We did with JSN. Typically, though, when we extend a player, we wait. And it looks like we're waiting on Witherspoon like we do most players. Maybe JSN's different because he was so good last year, there was nothing to talk about. With Witherspoon, there's a little bit more to talk about because Witherspoon, I mean, he does miss games on occasion. He's not Deion Sanders. I get it a little bit more. JSN has all the leverage in the world as far as a guy with 2 years left on his deal can be because he just had an incredible season in a way that Witherspoon, while he is still an incredible player, can't quite say. But if you were worried about the Devin Witherspoon situation going awry, the takeaway from this is business as usual, and there's no reason to believe there's a problem. And when I made the Devin Witherspoon video a few days ago, I did indicate that this was probably not a problem, but I did ask the question, what if it turns into a problem? Doesn't seem like that's a reasonable question yet. All right, so that's really about all I got. There are obviously going to be other updates as well, but in terms of the stuff that we as Seahawks fans care about, I think that's about it. I didn't really hear anything about Jalen Milroe. I didn't really hear anything about Jadarian Price. I think I saw Jadarian Price in a picture at one point, but business as usual, OTA stuff. All right, I'll see you guys later. Go Hawks. Probably no more videos later today, but keep an eye out. We'll see. See you guys soon.